Welcome to Even Ghosts. Listen to May. Today, we're diving deep into the unknown with three spine-chilling real ghost stories that will send shivers down your spine. From haunted houses to eerie encounters, these tales will make you question what lurks in the shadows. Are you ready to face the supernatural? Let's get started. This story is actually real, though only my parents remember it, since I was 3 to 4 years old. I was playing in the other room, probably with Legos or something else. I don't really remember. Anyway, my parents was in the kitchen. After a while, I came to them and complained about an old lady being annoying. They asked me what I meant, and I told them I was playing, but I couldn't focus since an annoying old lady kept asking me questions. They followed me back and said there weren't anyone there. I looked at them and said, "Yes, there is. She's annoying." They asked me what was her name, but I don't really remember after so many years. Anyway, it was my great-grandma's name. She died some years before I was born. My parents, to this day, bring this up every time we talk about ghosts. Our house is haunted, but it's just by our family, or people we knew. We haven't had an encounter with ghosts we don't know. This encounter was the first of like 30-ish encounter with a ghost. They don't visit us as often and do not make themselves known barely ever, but they haven't had a huge reason. We think why my great-grandma visited me was cause she wanted to check how it was going with her grandkid, my father, and saw me, his kid, and was happy and just wanted to get to know me. I miss the ghosts, though they are scary sometimes, but I wish I could get clear answers from them. Instead, they're just using their body to express themselves. I had to talk about this, since it's the first encounter with a ghost we didn't know. It's quite short, though I just have to talk about it. It was 2 or so months ago. My dad suffers from a weak throat since he ate wrong in his youth, and genetics. He snores a lot. You can hear it from across the house. He has started to use equipments that helps him breathe since he can't completely due to the weak throat. So he has stopped snoring completely when he has it on. Anyway, this was before all that, so he snored at the moment of this encounter. My mother and father were sleeping, and mother woke up due to a sense. She saw father's leg in the air, almost 45 degrees upwards. She woke him up and told him. He was still half asleep when he looked down the bed, but he saw her, an old lady, not someone we knew, holding his leg up. He got scared and pulled his leg back. He looked back up at the lady, but she was gone. He looked into the corridor outside the bedroom, which the door was open to, and he saw the lady looking at him. We think it was cause he sometimes stops breathing, not anymore, but he did when this happened, as stated before. The lady probably was scared he would die, so she took his leg to wake him up. We do not know who she was or how he saw her, but it happened. These stories are not made up, but are real. Either they are really rare due to coincidences, or they are really real. We think they are real. What do you think? So, growing up, I spent nearly every weekend at my grandparents' house. It was always such a warm and loving place, but there was something about it that creeped me out a bit, especially at night. Some of the rooms gave off this weird vibe, even during the day. There are two particular experiences that I had when I was younger. The first one happened when I was about 6. I was staying in my usual room, which had these old sliding wardrobes with noisy metal and glass doors. They always made this screeching sound when opened or closed, and I'd gotten used to it. One morning at around 6 or 7 a.m., I was half asleep and heard that familiar screech. I thought my grandma was putting clothes away, so I casually glanced at the wardrobe. What I saw next completely freaked me out. 2 bony gray hands with long nails were pulling the wardrobe door shut from the inside. I was so scared, I jumped out of bed and ran downstairs. My grandpa checked the wardrobe but found nothing unusual. But years later, after my grandpa passed away, my grandma told me that he had noticed some of the clothes were moved and a few had fallen off the hangers, like someone or something had been hiding in there. The second thing happened when I was about 13. I was coming down the stairs at my grandparents' house when I felt a bit weird, kind of uneasy. I glanced over the banister and saw an old woman slowly walking toward the sitting room. In my half-asleep state, I thought it was my grandma. I called out, but she didn't respond, so I went into the sitting room to talk to her. But when I got there, the room was empty. I looked around the house but couldn't find her anywhere. I eventually went outside and saw her way down in the garden, picking apples. The garden was massive, and unless she had somehow sprinted down there and filled a bucket with apples in a couple of minutes, there's no way she could have been in the house. When I asked if she had just been inside, she said she'd been in the garden for over an hour. I was so confused and honestly a little spooked. Even now, these stories still freak me out when I think about them. If someone else told me this stuff, I'd probably think they were exaggerating, but having lived through it, I just can't shake how weird it was. Whether I was overtired or my brain was playing tricks on me, the memory of those hands closing the wardrobe still gives me chills. When I think of these experiences, I don't consider them in the same way. If both really happened and ghosts are truly real, then I believe that they weren't the same entity. The second one was a lot less scary, and at the time, I wasn't uncomfortable or as scared as I was the first time. Hello, everyone. I'm a girl. I'm 18 years old. I'd like to tell you a few stories that happened to me. Let's discuss them together. First story. In the 8th grade after school, I usually do my homework in my room. I had never closed the door to my room before. As usual, I came and sat down at the table, turned on the computer, and started watching my homework. I was alone in the apartment. My parents are working until late. Suddenly, I heard something falling in the apartment. I strained, but I decided to check because it was daytime and it was light. I checked my parents' kitchen and bedroom, but there was nothing there. There was a bathroom, where I went right away. When I went into the bathroom, I saw that the shampoo on the shelf behind the partition had fallen. I was puzzled because if you don't pull the shampoo abruptly, it won't fall off. The shelves have a medium-length partition, so the shampoo could not fall in any way. Well, I put it back, looked in the mirror for 2 to 3 minutes, turned off the light in the bathroom, and went to my room. As soon as I started to sit on the computer chair, I heard a sound again. I didn't even have time to sit on the computer chair yet. I immediately realized that this sound was from the bath again. I already realized that I was scared because I put the shampoo back and stood in front of the mirror for a while. I repeat, there was a partition on the shelf. I go into the bathroom and see that the same shampoo is in the bathtub. I quickly put him on the shelf and almost ran into my room, closing the door behind me. I still don't know what it was, but after this incident, I always close the door to my room. Second story. The second story is not so scary, but I think it confirms the existence of ghosts. It was 2018. My favorite pet named Musha died. I have a laminate floor at home. It was funny when my pet was running, knocking his claws on the floor. Sometime after Moosie's death, I start getting ready for bed. I lay down in bed, and I can hear someone running on the floor, just like Musha when she was alive. Then I heard it trampling in one place and jumping. My edge of the blanket stretched down sharply. No, I wasn't scared. I think it was Musha who came to say goodbye to me. By the way, it was similar when 2 of my grandfathers died. When I went to bed, I felt like someone was stroking my head. It stopped when I told my mom everything.